Hi, and welcome to episode 2. So, in this episode, we're going to be talking about how to maximize the potential of a school website redesign. Now, I want to paint a picture. I'm talking primarily to principals, school administrators, admissions reps at a secondary school. Maybe you are a prep school, and you have a website for your school, and let's say it's 2 to 3 years, maybe it's even 5 years since you've done the last redesign. The content is stale. You're getting complaints that it's not useful. It doesn't represent the brand of the school properly. So you're in a position where you want to do something about it. Now, with that said, what do? Right? You're you're unsure about how to proceed moving forward, but you know you definitely need some help. And maybe you have a consultant in mind. You're looking for RFPs, and all you know is that you want to make sure that website is going to serve the students, parents of potential students, and also parents of current student that's using the school. Right? And this is huge because in 2024, website marketing, or I should say, more specifically, school marketing is highly dependent on having a good website to do the heavy lifting, right? You're going to be attracting people that are never heard of the school, maybe they're partially aware, and they're shopping, right? Looking for the best school to send their children to. So there's a lot of competition. And what has been a pitfall for many schools, the ones who aren't investing in their marketing aren't getting the students. And because they're not getting the students, they're not getting the revenue. And it's a self fulfilling cycle. Because, there's that old adage, the first thing to get cut when times are hard is marketing. But that's also like you eating your seeds, right? If you're a farmer. So with that out the way, what are some of the benefits of having a school website as part of your marketing campaign? Well, for one thing, it is a great lead generation. More than likely, what you are trying to do is to have a parent who's interested in sending their child to a school, your school more specifically, and you want them to sign up for that open house, right? Come visit the school, meet the staff, they fall in love with the campus and your values, everything that helps your school stand out. You just want them in the door, and then your staff will be able to hopefully convert them into becoming a member of the school. And how does what role does the website play? Well, the website is showcasing hopefully your programs, is showing students, staff, lots of stats, talking about how effective the programs are, the types of the types of programs and extracurricular activities that make up the student life. And you want, that parents to feel as if, what, their child can fit in. And more importantly, you want the potential student to fit in, to see themselves there, right? So one of the things I've noticed a lot is that using outdated photos, especially stock photos, you it's not authentic. And one of the things is that for some people, they may want to see diversity in terms of ethnicity, um, different people, different backgrounds, people, different face, perhaps, right? So being able to accurately portray that is helpful. Um, Other parents might be interested in like the sports programs, and if you have it, but you're not really showing it, that's a disservice. All right. So now that we've kind of talked about the significance of it, right? There are several good um, school websites that I'm going to link to in the show notes. And some of these are prep schools that are like Hebron Academy. That's a prep school that's about 200 years old. That's really on the higher end of the spectrum. And I can also give you an example. I didn't work on this, but site that was recently done for North Dallas Adventist Academy. I think it's a new site. I know some people at the school, and it's really done a good job in terms of showcasing the imagery and the programs and the mission, right? And because it's new, it's really, I think, a good eye opener to see what some of the 2024 best practices are for schools, right? So now in terms of best practices, you want to think about, like I alluded this earlier, the audience, right? You're telling a story for people that are shopping. So you want to be able to have your events, things that are happening. You want to showcase, yeah, you definitely want to showcase like I said, the events. Another thing you can showcase would be the campus life. You could have a virtual tour for those who may be in another state. Um, the alumni program is also a great thing because it's not just the relationship doesn't end at graduation. You could think of it as it's just changing, right? So the students aren't going to be physically in the school anymore, but you now have potentially a lifelong relationship as that individual graduates from high school, they go to college, they have a career. Now they're willing to give back, right? To attend the homecomings, to speak to current students, to show there's a pathway of success and they're part of a legacy. That's a huge area that isn't really being utilized in a lot of schools. Um, Fundraising, right? Having a fundraising portal where you are actively s- speaking about the needs that you're fundraising for. So what is the money going to? Potentially how much you're looking to collect, right? But then also showing past successes. So if you've raised money, or maybe last year for a particular program, and you reached that goal, then explain, what that money is going to be doing. Show it in action. That way, you might be able to get more people to continue giving because success breeds success. Right. Then the news and events are a good calendar is another area, and I would recommend not using like a Google Calendar, just kind of embedding it. You really want to have a proper calendar solution that you can enter an event, a featured photo, maybe have specific information on dates and start and end times, right? Um, have a description, like what's in it for that individual. Why should they attend? Why should they participate? Right? And that's really one of the biggest call outs, no matter if you're talking about a news article, an event, a program. Don't just write one or two sentences and leave the rest to the imagination. Always think about someone has limited time and context. Can you get them excited? Can you get them informed so that at the very least they may want to contact to find out more information, or they'll have enough to make an informed decision. Says, you know what, I'm interested in doing in attending or participating. Let me put it in my calendar. Let me sign up whether it's an RSVP, right? And you should always have a way for an individual to get in contact. And one good best practice is having a chat widget. that I can easily put my name, maybe my phone number, email, and I can start having a conversation, whether it's in real time or maybe it's just pre-recorded messages, and someone will get back to me. At least I have that option. Right. In terms of school website design ideas, you want the website to emphasize your brand identity, colors, you know, the font so that it's consistent with your social media, maybe your email marketing, or even if you just have a brand guideline, you want to follow that. Now, but in terms of content, you want to reflect the tone of voice. So, for example, if your school is known for being somewhat informal or lighthearted, then the copy can be informal, to an extent, still professional, but it's just lighthearted. However, if your school is very conservative, then that's okay. It should match the tone of voice because you don't want to come across one way on the website and someone goes to an open house and all of a sudden it is a totally different experience, right? It's almost disingenuous. Right? Now, in terms of choosing the right school web design company, there are a few out there. You don't want to go with just a local web designer that can do a website. You really want to have someone or an agency that has worked with schools, understands the needs of schools, because I don't doubt they can make something that looks pretty, but if they can't speak your language, if they don't know your pain points, then they can't really give you solutions that are effective in this space. They can give you what they think might work, or they might be leaning to you to give them the answers. So, in terms of agencies, off the top of my head, I can tell you that Final Sight is the big dog, and they're very expensive, but and they target typically school districts. They do have lots of like some of the more higher end like boarding schools. There's also Design TLC. They're a smaller agency. Uh, they do good work. You know, also throwing E flat, that we are not as well known as some of as those other two, but we have been working daily with schools and nonprofits and just using some of these best practices we're talking about on a regular basis to see gains. Now, in terms of crafting engaging school content, um, this is where you really want to have either a copywriter that is in an agency that's working with your team, or if you have someone dedicated, and this is usually rare for a school to have a dedicated staff member that can work on creating copy. But a good copywriter that works with schools can take your existing copy, help do a content audit, see what makes sense to keep, what might need to be revamped. They'd also be conducting interviews, with some of the key staff members on your digital website redesign team to get information. They can read document, whether it's marketing materials, and then start to flesh out a content document for the website. Once that content is created, they can also work on a plan in terms of how often content will be updated in the future. So one of the things you don't want to do is have a website that's launched and there's no new content for months, whether it's new programs, but just weekly updates, life at the school, key milestones throughout the academic year. Um, it shouldn't only be visible in social media; it should also be on the website. All right. Now, in terms of primary versus secondary schools, I would say that a primary school um, can have a lot of the same information as a secondary school in terms of academic programs, school mission, values, for prospective parents. But for existing parents, you may want to download forms, get the student handbook, you know, be able to pay tuition. Those things are universal. But some of the things you're going to see on the secondary school website is that you'd have more emphasis on the students telling their story, why they enjoy going to that particular school. Whereas on the primary side, it may be more the parents saying, my child enjoys going to the school, or I've seen a difference in how my child is now that they're attending the school. So that's one key area. The primary schools typically have less focus on particular programs, like especially in terms of like sports. Whereas on a secondary school, it's they may have some schools have majors where a student can pick a major in the sophomore year and start to have a specialization. Right? And those are key things that you can call out on a secondary school website. It's the preparation towards going towards college. So it's about the outcomes that the school is helping to prepare students for. So hopefully in this my talk has kind of provided some things to think about in terms of a website redesign, because it's less of a one-time event. It's the beginning of having your site be the centerpiece of your digital marketing outreach. And hopefully, by having a content plan, you can leverage your new website by continually producing content. It can be weekly content, and that will have a long-term impact on your SEO. In fact, a positive impact, because the more content you're putting out there, one, people like to see new content. You're also helping to create engagement, because if people are shopping, they may need 11 points of interaction with your brand before they decide, you know what, I'm ready to contact schools to set up an open house, or I'm ready to make that decision to send my child to the school. Right? And just what having systems that can create two-way communication, whether you're having people sign up on the website, then you can have mechanisms to also provide follow-up messaging, and that ties into your CRM systems. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and see you at the next one.